Are you excited about all the amazing strategy games releasing in 2024 and beyond? Because I sure as hell am, and this is my list of the upcoming 15 strategy games that I'm highly anticipating and excited for. If you enjoy the video, then please subscribe, as less than 1% of the people watching my videos are actually subscribed, and I would love to have you on this journey with me, guys. Now without further ado, let's get right into it. At number 15, we have Viking City Builder. This is a real-time strategy game where you are the leader of one of the many Viking clans invading Europe, and after conquering a small village and devastating it, as is Viking tradition, you decide to settle and build your own settlement and fort on the ashes of the Europeans you just devastated. You build iconic Viking buildings like longhouses, boating houses, ritual houses, and many more constructions from the era as you allot work for your people in the wilderness and build up your economy. The game also allows you to train an upstanding army in order to pillage neighboring villages or fighting back against the Europeans who have come to claim back their lands. What's more interesting is that this is the first strategy game of all time to actually use ray tracing to enhance in-game lighting and provide an even more realistic and immersive experience. Viking City Builder is planned to launch in early access first, so keep an eye out for that release date announcement since the game has been in development for a couple of years now. At number 14, we have Builders of Egypt, which is a city building economy focused strategy game taking place in the Nile Valley. The game is set in the proto-dynastic period where you follow the birth of old Egypt to its downfall with the death of Cleopatra VII. The game is wholly focused on urban city planning, building streets, relevant Egyptian culture buildings, and even wonders like the pyramids, all while focusing on keeping your economy efficient and maximizing your profits and income. The game also has aspects like politics, religion, trade, and diplomacy. Your governor will be faced with tough choices in this constantly changing political landscape. Things like costly expeditions, requests from the pharaoh, and military threats all demand your attention. Neglecting religion can also anger the gods and cause natural disasters like famine and floods. This game reminds me a lot of an old 2004 game called Immortal Cities: Children of the Nile, which I used to play a lot in my childhood. The game is currently going with multiple sessions of closed playtests, and the developers are rapidly evolving the game with the feedback they receive. The game will be out sometime soon, but there is already a free demo on Steam if you wanna check it out. At number 13, we have Ara History Untold, which is an upcoming grand strategy game which allows you to build a nation and lead your citizens across a vast time period in history. You can rule the Egyptians as Queen Nefertiti, the Greeks as Sappho, or United States as George Washington. The game allows you to choose from a roster of unique leaders representing different nations, people, and playstyles with gameplay impacting traits. You can build a dynamic living world and watch it come to life in vivid, realistic detail as citizens move throughout the world and react dynamically to times of health and sickness, war and peace, wealth and despair, with unique biomes, cultures, and eras that represent the diversity of the human history and human experience. The game is truly aiming to be very ambitious, and with Xbox Game Studios publishing and help funding the game, the future looks truly very prosperous and bright, so keep looking forward to where the devs go with this one. At number 12, we have Dark Moon, which is a survival strategy game where you oversee the construction of a human facility on the moon. The story is that the Earth has been devastated by a massive solar storm and you are stranded and alone fighting for survival on the moon. The sun's radiations are burning everything up, so you build your own mobile base of operations known as the Mechaplex, and you have to constantly move and fight against various circumstances for the sake of survival, as different events may bring unpredictable results. You have to scan the terrain and obstacles with your drones to prepare for what lies ahead, and embrace or beware of other survivors who will want to join your convoy. There is also a focus on gathering minerals and using their properties to increase your chances of survival. You can also build new buildings on top of the Mechaplex and research new technologies to enhance your crew's abilities and traverse the lunar planes. Keep an eye out for the release date announcement for this game, as it has been in development for over 3 years and I believe it will be coming out relatively soon, sometime in 2024. At number 11 we have Stormgate, which is a real-time strategy game set in the science fantasy universe where you command mechs to defend the Earth or invade it. The game is being made by former developers of Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 2, and it will have a story campaign set hundreds of years in the future where alien invaders have laid waste to Earth and you are part of the handful of humanity which has survived and evolved to develop mechs to fight back against the alien invasions. The game is also being developed with multiplayer in mind, and considering how beloved StarCraft 2 multiplayer was, I am intended to believe that these people know what they are doing. The devs also promised that the multiplayer component will be free to play, but placed heavy emphasis that it will not be pay to win. The campaign can also be played in co-op with up to 3 players, so look forward to hearing more about Stormgate as we go forward. At number 10 we have Falling Frontier, which is a 4X sci-fi RTS placing foremost importance on logistics and intel. You can design ships and raid enemy supply lines, lay minefields and construct recon stations, and ambush enemy forces with asteroid fields and nebulas. You can explore a vast procedurally generated star system filled with planets, moons, asteroid fields as you build and upgrade shipyards, supply depots, refineries and recon stations, all the while researching new technologies to unlock ship hulls, weapons, orbital facilities, colonization options, and much more. The game also allows for deep and immersive combat between space navies and ships with intuitive controls and intricate physics mechanics. The premise of the game looks really interesting, and it has been in development for over 3 years and is planned to release relatively soon, so keep an eye out for it, guys. At number 9 we have City of Atlantis, which is an isometric city building survival game set in the world of mythical land of Atlantis. The fabled city of Atlantis has re-emerged from the ocean depths, and you are now in charge of development and management of this legendary abode. You need to plan expansion of each city block in such a way that it ensures maximum efficiency of production chains and transportation, while you utilize your gathered knowledge to constantly progress and improve. The mythical and beloved setting of this game makes it quite intriguing, and the graphics and visuals look great and on point, synonymous to the time period. You also need to defend Atlantis from tsunamis by building huge water breakers and also building defensive military structures to fend off incoming invasions. You can also train and equip heroes who will travel across the land together and gather knowledge about culture, history, law, art and science. I don't think we have seen that many mythological city builders combined with survival mechanics, so the game does seem truly interesting, and let's see where the developers go with this one. At number 8 we have Celestial Empire, where you can immerse yourself in the world of ancient China and build your cities as the emperor has appointed you the governor of a new province. The game represents a stunning and fantastical setting as seasons change and you watch your settlement grow from a paltry village to a massive and intricate city worthy of being visited by the emperor himself. The game allows you to trade with other settlements and foreign parties along the Silk Road by sending out caravans, and the game also has a mythical and supernatural side where you need to worship and seek the blessings of gods so they bestow you with miracles and powerful blessings to help grow your city, while you also have to simultaneously defend your realm from demons that bring sorrow and fear into the hearts of your citizens. The game also has a weather system where you need to survive winter and other catastrophic weather conditions by planning beforehand and gathering enough stockpiles of resources. The game is planned to launch in 2024, so keep an eye out for it. At number 7 we have Tempest Rising, which is a classic RTS inspired by the Command & Conquer series. The game features 3 unique factions, each with its own approach to combat and economy and offering a variety of strategies for players. The game will have 2 full-blown single-player campaigns with cinematic cutscenes and will also feature skirmish against AI as well as multiplayer games against real players. The game is set in a post-apocalyptic world where you struggle for power and resources as the planet has been devastated by nuclear war. The campaign follows your army trying to seek control of the mysterious Tempest vines that grow unchecked across the war-torn planet, while other dangers lurk in the shadows. Guys, the graphics of this game are very stylized and the lighting system looks great, honestly. This is probably what a modern Command & Conquer game would look like, and I can't wait to play it as it releases sometime in 2024. At number 6 we have Men of War 2, which is a World War II classic era real-time strategy game which allows you to lead your troops in intense real-time battles on both the western and eastern fronts and overwhelm your opponents in epic narrative single-player campaigns and skirmish mode, while also supporting deep multiplayer. The game boasts of pinpoint historical accuracy and new levels of visual and audio excellence, all combined with heart-pounding action. You can command infantry, armored and airborne divisions, and use strategy or brute force to win victories. The game also has destructible environments, which allows you to blast buildings to smithereens, and the landscape of the battlefield dramatically changes as the battle progresses and entire villages and cities are laid to waste by the ferocious skirmishes. I don't know about you, but I always love more World War II games, and this one actually looks really great. The game was supposed to launch sometime in 2023, but then it got delayed to 2024, so keep an eye out for it if you love some World War II action. At number 5 we have Frostpunk 2, the sequel to the highly acclaimed society survival game Frostpunk. We actually have yet to see any gameplay for this, but it is slated to release in the first half of 2024 according to the developers, and they have confirmed that all major features and mechanics of the first game will also be playable in the second game. The game is set 30 years after the events of the first game, where Earth is still overwhelmed by never-ending frost and harsh icy climate, and you play as the leader of a resource-hungry metropolis where expansion and internal conflicts are an unavoidable reality. In Frostpunk 2, you can build your city on a massive new scale by creating entire districts with different purposes and making sure that all parts of the city work well together, as well as research new technologies that will set the direction for your citizens' progress. The game aims to tell a brutal and realistic post-apocalyptic story which presents you with difficult choices as you try to resolve inner turmoils, sparked by rising social differences and the threat of harsh winter. The first game was honestly spectacular, and if the second game is going to build on the harsh and brutal survival aspects and city building aspects of the first one, I'm highly looking forward to the gameplay reveal soon and eventual release date in the first half of 2024. Moving on, at number 4 we have Total War 2024, and this is quite intriguing since we don't definitively know what the next Total War game might be, but we can make some educated guesses. Since the recent mainline Total War game, Total War Pharaoh, has been an utter commercial failure and the lowest selling Total War game of all time, CA needs their next Total War game to be a hit. Like, they really need it. And for this to happen, realistically speaking, we have 2 games. The first one is either Three Kingdoms 2, which we know has been in development for around 3 years and might be ready to ship sometime late next year. The first Three Kingdom game was a massive success on launch and sold record-breaking copies at that time in 2019. And despite the recent bad image of CA, I think the second 3K game will still do well because of its dedicated fan base. Another option we have is a Medieval 2 remaster, which CA might contract Feral Interactive to make like they did for Rome 1 Remaster. With most of the community crying out for a Medieval 3, this would be a smart move to placate the audiences as we wait for the next mainline Total War game, and honestly Medieval 2 Remaster would be so amazing. It's quite unlikely, but CA might also even release a Victoria Total War or a Medieval 3, since the main historical Total War team has been working on an unannounced historical game for a few years now. Either way, we can only wait and see where Total War goes in 2024, and I hope for the best for the series. At number 3, we have Age of Mythology Retold, a full-on remake of one of the most legendary and beloved strategy games of all time, Age of Mythology, and its godly expansion, The Titans. The classic real-time strategy game that transports players to a time when heroes battled with monsters of legend and gods intervened in the affairs of the mortals. The game will be made using the Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition's version of the Bang engine, and all the units, assets and animation will be completely redone from scratch. Its soundtrack will be a new fully symphonic version, and there will be lots of tweaks and modernizations to the gameplay and UI. While we have yet to see any gameplay, the team have already remade the first 3 Age of Empires games, and they have done an absolutely fabulous job on Age 1, Age 2 and Age 3 Definitive Editions, as they have not only modernized the game with new visuals, UI and AI, all the while keeping intact the original art style. The team has also added a lot of new content for these games. If Age of Mythology is a remake along the lines of the Age of Empires Definitive Editions, it's going to be one of the biggest treats for us strategy game fans. There is no official release date at the moment, but I am waiting with bated breath for more gameplay details, as the original game is probably one of my most beloved strategy games and of course an absolute masterpiece. At number 2, we have Homeworld 3, a sequel to the 20-year-old award-winning Homeworld series. Homeworld 3 is a wholly unique tactical sci-fi RTS where players assume control of a fleet and battle in a dazzling, fully realized space setting while an intricate story unfolds on a galactic scale. The story picks up directly after Homeworld 2 as the hyperspace gates are failing and you need to embark on an epic mission to save the galaxy. The game allows for complete strategic freedom as hulking space derelicts called megaliths bring 3D terrain into the classic Homeworld battle space. Players can use crumbling remains of an ancient civilization to funnel foes into a brilliant ambush or hide their fleet from powerful enemies. Space fortresses will team with menacing turrets, and we can control and send our strike crafts into dangerous missions deep behind enemy lines. But not everything will be in our control, as dangerous space phenomena like the particle storms and asteroid fields will be a test for even the most seasoned strategy players. Homeworld 3 is a full-blown AAA RTS game on a truly galactic scale, the likes of which we rarely see nowadays. And a great blessing for us is that many of the original developers of the first 2 games are also working on Homeworld 3 despite the studio change from Relic Entertainment to Blackbird Interactive. The game is set to launch in February 2024, so look forward to it, guys. And the first game on our list, the most anticipated modern strategy game, one which everyone is waiting for with bated breath. It is Manor Lords, which is finally releasing on the 26th of April 2024 on Steam and will also be available via PC Game Pass and later on Xbox consoles. Manor Lords is currently the most wishlisted strategy game on Steam, and it is a medieval strategy game featuring in-depth city building, Total War style battles, and complex economic simulation. From the absolute unreal attention to detail that the developer Slavic Magic is putting into this game, to its immersive game mechanics and realistic and immersive visuals, Manor Lords is everything that people have been crying out for and dreaming from a near-perfect RTS game. Manor Lords provides a gridless city building experience with full freedom of placement and rotation. Building mechanics are inspired by growth of real medieval towns and villages of history, where major trade routes and the landscape influenced how settlements were shaped and developed. The game even allows you to go into third person and walk around and immerse yourself into the world that you have lovingly crafted with your own hands as you enjoy the detail that the developer has put into this game, from the NPC routines to the intricate animations. While resource management and medieval city building simulation mechanics look amazing and are a major draw, the game combines all of these with deep and tactical combat similar to what we find in Total War games. The developer has been working on this game for a few years now and have been listening closely to all the feedback provided by the fans as well as the playtesters and doing their best to implement community requested features. I am very confident that Manor Lords is a game that will finally make our hearts happy and fulfilled, and we only need to wait just a couple of more months till April 26 for it to finally be out in early access, from which it will keep on improving as time goes. These were the 15 most anticipated strategy games that are going to be releasing in 2024 and beyond. Now I know a lot of you might be upset that most of these games don't have definitive release dates, but I would just say that keep patience guys and let the developers cook, because unlike back in the early 2000s, strategy gaming is not as popular among AAA developers as it used to be. So most of these games which are being made by either indie or smaller AA developers and not such big studios, they don't want to pre-announce a game's release date and then face backlash if they are not able to complete it on time. I would just say that all of these games look amazing. They have great potential guys, and let's just let the developers do their thing, let them take their time, because at the end of the day, when a good game comes out, it is we who are going to benefit from it, right? It is we who are going to enjoy playing these games. So all in all guys, that's it from me, and if I missed any of the games, please let me know down in the comments. If you have anything to say about any of these games, please let me know down in the comments as well. I hope all of you have an amazing day guys, full of positivity and happy gaming to everyone.